I was born in Delhi, India. My family had been living in a society kind of place that had about 300 flats and 2 parks. It was a nice place and we lived in a 2-bedroom flat there. I was born there and I had still been living there when I was 19 years old and my family left so I could go to college. When I was 12 years old, me and my friends used to play hide and seek in that place. It was not the usual hide and seek. We'd rather hide but keep on moving from place to place, and we'd stay in a group wherever we went, and there would only be one seeker. Once, we were hiding and there were about 5 of us guys, and we thought we would move to a new place as to not get caught so easily. So, we went to a corner of the society where most of the flats were empty, but there was one house on the first floor of one of the corner buildings that had a woman living in it. We were just in front of that building, waiting near an old big tree. My friend started coughing pretty bad, so we stayed there for a while. We noticed that there was a fire lit in the balcony on the flat on the first floor. After 2 to 3 minutes, we noticed that there was a woman in the balcony who suddenly started speaking a set of words which sounded like a language none of us had ever heard before. After a while, she came in front of the balcony and asked us what we were doing there. My friend, who was the oldest of us, said that we were just playing hide and seek. She smiled and said, play, but be careful of me because I'm not a nice person. We got scared and we went away and stopped playing anymore. The next day I told my parents and my teacher, but they laughed it off. After a week of this incident, I saw her again. It was about 10 p.m. and I was just looking out my window from my flat when I saw that woman doing something to our car parked in front of our building. I told my father and he went downstairs and stopped that woman. We called the police and she ran away. The police came and my father told them that the woman had some lemon and green chili in her hand and she was trying to cast a spell on our car and was trying to open the door. The police then called the woman's son and said that he doesn't live nearby and will come the next day. After all this, the police told us that the woman started practicing black magic when her husband died and her son left her for his own family. They told us that the woman's son was taking her back to his family and she would not be allowed to come back to this place again. I've been very scared of this woman ever since. This is not my account, but that of my friend, Hardy. 4 years ago, Hardy was pretty depressed. He worked really hard and long hours and his girlfriend and him just broke up. Something clicked and he went on some cross-country drive for a couple months. The type where you don't shave and come back with a huge beard. During that time, he encountered a lot of people. There was one in particular that ruined him as he got back through Dallas late at night. Hardy stops about 11:30 p.m. at a gas station in kind of a rougher part of South Dallas. As he's filling up, a rough man approaches him and asks for some money. Hardy, being the kind of guy he is, gives him a couple of bills and then the rough man asks if he can get a ride home. Hardy says he needs to get going, but the man insists and just gets into the back seat even as the car is getting filled up. So, there he is, stuck with a really ominous looking dude, nicely demanding a ride home. As he gets back into the vehicle, the man doesn't explicitly show any sort of weapon, but Hardy was petrified because something was protruding obviously from his jacket and again at his waist. The rough man started to direct him where to go, which is about 30 minutes even deeper into the rougher part of Dallas. Mind you, it's past midnight and Hardy is getting freaked out. Moment by moment, the pleasantries erode from the rough man. He then directs him to a specific house and tells him he will be right back and not to leave him there because he is just getting something. There was a lot of people outside and in cars looking at him, none of them seeming to be welcome. Hardy told me that he wanted to leave, but he didn't have cell coverage or GPS and was in some dirt road already. He stayed for 30 minutes hyperventilating in the driver's seat. The man comes out as it approaches 1 a.m. and then tells him to drive to another place. This cycle continues all through the night, literally, into the morning, going from place to place, getting things, and then coming back. He noticed a car from the house that started to follow him. The rough man apparently milked this and then told Hardy to buy him things. He went to the mall in Arlington, Texas and had to buy him shoes, some clothes. Ultimately they ended up at a motel and Hardy paid for this guy's room. This was about 14 hours with this guy straight through the night. He made it out alive but suffered some excruciating fearful hours. Shortly after the nightmare he moved to Colorado because he felt like the guy may have known too much about him and thought he could get more out of him. I did not think he felt safe in North Texas anymore. This was in 2010. I just had my first baby and was on maternity leave. I am a young mom. We had just bought our first house, and my boyfriend was working ridiculous hours, leaving around 6:30 a.m. and was rarely home before 10:30 p.m. On this particular night, he hadn't come home and it was nearing 11 p.m. Sitting with my baby on my lap and my dog Belle, I heard a knock at the door. This is when I made a big mistake. Holding my newborn, I walked straight up to the door and opened it. I was expecting my boyfriend to be there and didn't bother asking who it was. Standing there was an older man, maybe 50s, balding and average build. He seemed caught off guard and wouldn't stop staring at my baby. He introduced himself as my next-door neighbor. This immediately made me uncomfortable. We had just moved in and I had met the neighbors on both sides. On either side were young couples buying their first houses as well, and there was no older man on either house. I took a step back and the man started to shift and randomly started asking me if my TV reception was bad. I am too nice, and I felt alarm bells, but I was too concerned about being polite. At this point, my dog Belle ran up to the door. She ignored the man at the door and looked a bit further down the road and started to growl. I looked in this direction, and I saw the figure of a man hiding behind a tree. I couldn't make anything out, and it was too dark outside, but I saw the tip of a cigarette light up when he took a drag of it. I looked back up at the man at the door, and he put two and two together. I said I didn't know anything about the TV reception, but that my boyfriend would, and he was just upstairs, and I shut the door and locked it. I ran around the house checking all locks. I think I was saved because this creep had some form of morals and didn't want to attack a woman holding a newborn. They also could have been deterred by my dog. If it wasn't for Belle, I wouldn't have seen the man hiding in the darkness, and I may have continued the conversation, allowing the creep to get over his initial shock. I never called the cops because I am a fool. So, neighbor, and your random friend hiding behind the tree in the darkness, let's not meet again. Hey everyone, Conduit here. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends if you really want to. I really like doing these videos for you guys, but I am also in university right now, and I have some stuff going on there. Obviously, I can't do these videos all the time, so whenever I have the chance, obviously I like sitting down and doing them, but just subscribe and I'll upload them whenever I can, and I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good